Hello, everyone. My name is Labentine Shala. I would like to thank you for being here today. And also, I would like to thank you for showing up fully clothed. You're about to prove an important point here. So, with that being said, since all of us are wearing clothes, that makes us, all of us, fashion consumers. And together, we are making fashion one of the most impactful industries that there are. Here is an important question we're about to start this presentation. Can you and zero-waste fashion make the world a better place? With that being said, all of us having this impact in fashion and making this industry one of the most important ones, obviously we are making an impact through fashion. As I said, in one way or another, all of us are consumers. And mostly, fast fashion has most of the credits for making fashion such a popularized industry. Fast fashion might sound all fun and beautiful, but if we scratch the surface just a little bit, we start to see that actually there are some ugly hidden truths inside. Fast fashion is exactly what the name suggests. It's based on a fast, rapid model of creating clothing with low ethical values and the cheapest prices that there are. This is the impact that I was trying to talk about through some little visualization. So every year, fast fashion produces about 100 billion new garments. I'll repeat this once again, 100 billion garments globally. We're talking about 1 year only. And every year, 92 million tons of textiles are wasted. We'll see this in a scale. Only 9% of them goes to reuse, 10% recycling, 25% of those is burned, and 56% goes to the landfills. And if you need a visual representation of that, here's what it looks like. And this is just a very, very, very small fraction of the waste that we throw in the landfills. This is at a bigger scale, but again, a very low percentage. So, these are only a few of the problematic ways of fast fashion and this industry. One of the most and the biggest problems of the fast fashion is that it produces excessively amounts of fashion, of clothing, of new items, as we mentioned before. And since we buy them so cheaply and they are so accessible to us, we have very low sentimental values to those clothing. We buy them, we use them for a few times, maximum, and we throw them away. Since this is one of the issues, one of the ways to solve this problem is slow fashion. Slow fashion, again, is exactly what the name suggests, a slow way of creating and a mindful way of creating. This solves one of the biggest problems of the industry of fast fashion. We, as slow fashion designers, we're creating with care to environment, and one of the biggest points to prove here is that fashion should never be created at the excessive amounts that we talked about. So slow fashion is creating at the low minimum amounts. Me as a designer has put a few points that I wanted to offer solutions. One of the biggest issues during the production of fast fashion is the waste of the fabric, the leftover fabric. So here is what we decided to do with the leftover fabrics that are created from cutting in conventional ways. So mainly there are two ways that we are using our pattern making and cutting techniques. First one is zero waste patterns. We are using the maximum potential of the fabric. And the second one is by upcycling the pieces that are being left from conventional cutting. Here you see a new texture that has been created all with fabric scraps. The checkered pieces are created all from wasted leftover fabrics. And the idea here is to create something beautiful and pleasing to the eye that we'll continue using. Another point of solving some of the issues is making transformable clothing. transformable clothing will lengthen the life of the garment and give us more opportunities to wear them. So in this case, here is a design that can be wearable on both sides, which gives the client, the consumer, more options to wear them, and also can be easily styled from a day-to-day garment to an evening event. This is the other technique that I mentioned earlier about zero-waste pattern making. So zero-waste pattern making is essentially using all the fabric 100% of its potential. This garment is cut in different geometrical shapes, and the texture is made all by hand, handcrafted, and mixed and matched pieces to create a beautiful texture and a new design. This is also another example of using 100% of the capacity of the fabric, and all the structure of the design is done like an origami type of style, where we use different structures and create voluminous and other shapes. Also, another issue that I've noticed, particularly here in Kosovo, is evening wear. Usually, maybe some of you also can relate to that, when we go to buy something for an evening event, we tend to think that we are going to buy it, wear it once, but we don't want to see on it twice. We don't want to be seen on it again. So this is our solution to evening wear. We make transformable evening wear that, the example that we're showing in the pictures, this design is wearable on 3 different ways. So the tail and the bow are both detachable, and they give us more opportunities to style them and wear them in different ways. Also, this design is cut in a zero-waste pattern, which again is lowering the waste to 0%. This is another example that we experimented for my master's degree, and here are an old pair of jeans. They were all torn apart, and they had different stains in them. They were no longer usable, and the user was about to throw them away. So we decided to try something fun and see if we could challenge ourselves to make them wearable again. So this is what we did with those pieces. Okay. So we cut the legs of the pants and created a whole new corset that can be worn and styled in a different way, and we gave those jeans a new lifespan. Okay. This is more maybe for the fashion geeks. Here's an insight on the making of the Heartbreaker jacket. As I mentioned earlier, the fabric is laid flat, cut in different geometrical shapes. Those shapes are structured, and the new texture is given to them. We mix and match the pieces until we create a new desirable piece of clothing. This is also 2 new corsets that we made and designed from leftover fabrics and zero-waste cutting techniques. With all that being said, zero-waste fashion is not a new technique, even though my approach is modern and maybe innovative in a way. Zero-waste fashion is the way our ancestors used to create. Here we have a knitted cotton pullover that was knitted by my mother, Labentine Shala. She's here in the audience today. This is the method. This is a method that our ancestors used to do all along, and it's a zero-waste method because it uses the whole potential of the yarn in this case. This is the cotton fiber, which, as we may know already, organic fibers are much better for the environment. That was a very, very brief description of what's happening in the world of creators, from fast fashion to slow fashion. But the big question here is, what can we do as consumers? We're slowly starting to understand that we can't just put the blame on the fashion industry and the fashion brands and the fast fashion, because we are the ones that are fueling fast fashion, and we are the ones that are the consumers, and we are the ones that are buying, and we are the ones that truly have the choice to change this system that really needs a reset. Here, I'm going to offer a few little tips and hints from how I overcame my shopaholic addiction. And this was simply by observing my emotions. Usually, we fuel fast fashion by our impulsive buying. We see the sales, we see different seasons, all the new pieces coming up, and we rarely think of how that is impacting the environment. So here's what you think. Here's what you have to do. Next time you want to buy something, simply stop and observe that action and think if you really need that piece of clothing and if you really want it. So we're not trying to make emotions here not to be seen. It's important to love the new fabrics, the new pieces that we're about to buy, but also we just need to tone those emotions down and really think if that action is going to bring us good, to put them in a scale essentially, if that will be a good thing or the impact will be more negative. So our choices are really shaping the world. Every new item of clothing that you bought in a way or another has its impact and is all reacting to a certain way in the environment. Next time, when you try to buy something, all you can do is ask. All of what we're about to do here is become more mindful as consumers. And as we become more mindful as consumers, together, we are truly going to change the world. Thank you.